we have wallpaper, we have torn wallpaper, we have beams, we have bricks. Now I need the background to move. So how do we do that? There's a couple different ways I was thinking of doing it. One way I want to try out is, can I just have these tile sets move to the screen left automatically? If that doesn't work, then we're going to have to do a moving camera, which isn't the worst thing in the world, because I do, inside this object camera file where I followed a tutorial on a long time ago, I have the YouTube video still. So I can go back and watch this YouTube video to figure out what he is doing and what I want to pull into mine, because 99% stuff I don't understand. I mean, I can read through it and you can kind of make sense of it, right? Anyway, we'll watch the video and figure it out. Aspect ratio, that makes sense. I just put in my own height and my own width. I want 224 by 256. If view width and 1, then view width, then add to the view width. If view width and 1. I don't think that's an and, because and is usually double ampersand. I don't know how these if statements work. Anyway, then it gets the max window size, which is very clever. And if the view height times the max window scale equals my display height, then create that. Oh, that's kind of fun. Okay, I kind of half understand that. It's getting the window scale by getting my display width and divide it by the view width, which is this. And then the same thing for the display height. So then you're resetting the window scale here to be this. But if this times this equals this, then you're doing this to the window scale. So it's being affected here too, which looks like a subtraction, like a take away. I know what plus equals mean and minus equals. So plus plus minus minus probably just means just adding 1 or taking away 1. I need to look that up. Because equals is. I say that twice, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so math happens here where we get a new window scale, and then we do the window size. So window size, set it to view width times window scale, and view height times window scale. So it's basically making as full of a screen window as it can using your width and height and your display size. And I don't know what surface resize does, so I should look that up. And then the game speed, which is fine. I was set to 60. Okay, that kind of makes more sense. But the reason why I want to do this update video is because originally I wanted to have all these assets presented to you in a nice, beautiful fashion because I'm a professional person, and I'm not. I'm still very much in work. You can see my earlier wallpaper here. Much more simple, right? Maybe I'll go back to that. I don't know, but I'm getting sidetracked. I really wanted to move on to figure out the environment move because I feel like being able to see the environment move behind a character is going to help me with the layout greatly. So it looks like we're kind of at that crossroads because there's also more elements I want to add to the background. There's windows, there's paintings, there's the cracks. We need the cracks because it's a drafty house. We need the cracks in the walls. The other thing too, I really would love to have some motion of parallax. I'm gonna have some, but I don't picture those columns to be all the way at infinity, which means they're hardly moving. They're gonna be moving 60 feet behind the character, if even. And I really love the parallax effect. So from a narrative standpoint, I thought it'd be cool to have windows that were boarded up or curtained because Ghusty wants to keep everything dark inside. But now I really want something to be at infinity. So I'm trying to give Ghusty a good reason to have the windows not closed. And the best thing I think about that, it's at nighttime and he just wants to let the lights off at nighttime. I don't know yet. But I'm talking a lot. Again, the biggest reason I want to do this update is because I wanted to show you my progress, but I want to pause so I can get a moving camera so I can see how the assets move. And I realize the error in my way is building assets before the function's actually in the game. And that's okay. I'm just kind of chasing what it is I'm most interested in doing. And then I'll hit a roadblock and then put that aside and then continue. And I'm happy where we currently are at. This is definitely not final. I'm gonna keep working on it. But before we do that, let's get the background moving. And maybe one day we'll get rid of our visual mock-up of the Ghusty air. But right now he's so, look at this. It's like you're just getting rained on by air. Look at that, look at that. Perfect. That's fine, look like gust. Why is that gust not moving with him? Oh, interesting. Oh, we gotta work that out. Oh, because the gust is set to move away from Ghusty in negative space, but only if it's within a certain distance of Ghusty. But clearly, that doesn't work if it spawns when Ghusty's already 1,000 feet ahead of him. So I need to fix that logic. But it's cool because it looks like a little zoom, which I don't have to do that trick anymore if I have a camera move. It will just happen automatically. And again, the trick I'm referring to is when you hit spacebar, the poof animation is drawn, and then once it gets to a certain frame, it holds there for a little bit, and then it goes negative. It goes to the screen left. But anyway, I'm gonna go do some research with the camera. I'm gonna go watch that video that I was showing you guys earlier, and I'll see if I can learn a bit more about animating tile sets and try to do some research on which is going to be the best option. But I don't know how much of this video you want to see me typing out code and realizing I'm doing it wrong versus just wanting periodic progress updates and how I got there. So whatever seems to work for you, because this is all just a bunch of nonsense spaghetti right now. We'll cut to another update in a couple days, which will be right about now. So I checked out this gentleman's video where I learned this, and it's very helpful, but I added all of his logic in, and when I hit play, look, the background now moves with Ghusty, right? He can move, he can duck, he can jump out of the way. I can now finally, for the first time, see the background move. So I don't love this. You see how it has this background has like a really nice ease in. I want it to be more of a sudden stop, too smooth for me. And part of the reason why that's happening is because of this right here. I'm going to try to explain this, but just know that, watch the video. But we basically have an X variable that is grabbing Ghusty's position, subtracting the view width divided in half, doing 0, which I think is what it's clamping it to. And then for the third variable is the room width minus the view width. So then we're getting X and a Y. And then we get the camera view, Y and X. We have a speed variable, and with the speed variable, we lerp, which is math, between the curve X, which is this, the X, which is this, and the speed. And by default, we have it at 0.1. Let's try 0.05, half of what we had it set to. Oh, look at that. It's very swimmy. Almost catch up with the side of the screen. It's so fun. I don't know. I mean, part of me just wishes to know that if Ghusty gets close to this line, then move the camera to catch up to Ghusty. Okay, so I have two things I could try. In one scenario, everything is moving from screen right to screen left except for Ghusty, and Ghusty has to keep up, or he gets left behind. Interesting, let's talk about that. I don't love the idea of Ghusty getting left off camera. I don't know if that adrenaline aspect is something that I enjoy. Okay, so here's Ghusty, you're playing him. The camera's static, but everything else is moving. And you get to fly all over the place. You can't go further than this orange box, but you also can't go further than this box. I think I'm getting stuck on etiquette too. I definitely know I don't want him to leave the screen ever, at least not right now. But if you're not going fast enough, I do like the idea that you end up back here. As you move, you can move over here, but you can't go past like this points. And maybe if it like in between here to here is normal and here to here is fast. That's kind of cool, right? So the camera's always at least moving normal. So if we're doing this, then it sounds like the right thing to do is to have the camera constantly move, right? Let's just have the camera constantly move for a second and see what happens, right? That can't be too difficult to figure out. Step events, camera view set pause. So we'll reuse this. Let's just leave Y at 0. Oops. There we go. Yeah. Is that cool? Ghusty, where are you? I can change this, right? I can do if object ghusty.x is greater than view width divided by 2, then we can do that. So if Ghusty's x is greater than or equal to the view width divided by 2, then go ahead and make it faster. Else, don't make it that fast. I don't know if it's fast, so let's do it really fast. And let's do this really slow. Clearly something not right with my logic. We should return Ghusty's x so we can see what the hex it is. Where's our text? Let's do a new one. Ghusty x. Oh, did I turn it off? Yeah, you think you have one problem, and then you realize you got 1,000. There it is. X does go. Okay, so that's what's happening. If Ghusty's position is greater than the x of half the x of the view width, then the camera's gonna go faster. And because it's always gonna be greater than half of the view width, it's fine because the room width is greater than the view width. .x is just his position, I think, in the room. So it's almost like I need to return Ghusty's position in camera, not Ghusty's position in the room. If object Ghusty plus .x, I want this value. Let's not make this local. Yeah, let's read this value so we better understand it. I always find it better that if I can read it, it's easier for me to understand. So we'll do cam x, camera for x. But that works great. Anatomy. Only reference ones because I named it wrong. Don't want to go find it because I forgot what it's called, but I gotta go find it. That's what it's called. It's called that. Let's see if we can read its x. I think that'd be more informative. Cam x is 0.5. Isn't that interesting? Now it's 20. That's not what I expected at all. If camera view X. Well, I'd imagine it's Y would be the same, but why is it moving? I love this little cheat sheet I made. It's just the best. Let's get the cam Y. Okay, so it's 0, 0 because of that. Okay, yeah, I'm still plussing it. That's why I've changed it. Okay, so this is going to turn 0, 0 because that's the view X and the view Y is 0, 0 because it's top left of the camera. But I want. This is what I want. I think this is what I want. This is what I want. Watch this. This is big brain moves. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking is supposed to happen. I get the current camera position, which is 0 on X and 0 on Y. That's the top left point of the camera. Okay. Now if I take the view width, which is 256, and I divide it in half, that's halfway in the screen at the starting position. That's halfway through the screen. So 256 is 125 plus 3, 128. Okay. So it's 128. But as the camera moves further right, higher, and X is always going to be greater than 128. So if Ghusty's X position is greater than 128, which is view width divided by 2, then make the camera go really, really fast. And the moment he crosses that threshold, it's always going to be really, really fast. So I need to know where the camera's position is at the same time and then add that to half the width. So if Ghusty's X position is greater than that, make the camera go by really fast. If it's not greater than that, make it go by really slow. So this is going to work. I've discussed it in my brain. This is going to work. 20 is really fast though. Let's dial it back down to 5. This is going to work. I'm 99.9% certain this is going to work. It works. It works. It works. It works. Okay. That's good.